It's one of our biggest industries. Tourism in Scotland generates £4 billion a year. But as a sector that produces 8% of greenhouse gas emissions globally, how easy is it for companies to embrace eco-tourism? Well, this week STV News is exploring the big issues facing business when it comes to going green. Nicola McAlley's been finding out how firms are rising to the challenge.
Leslie Mackenzie's family run holiday cottages and a farm cafe near Dingwall. They've invested in biomass heating, solar panels, and they work hard to reduce food waste. But she says it's not easy.
It is tricky because the information isn't always easily accessible. So you might have an idea, we would really like to produce our own electricity, we would really like to reduce the use of electricity. But there are a lot of hoops to jump through just to get the information. Then you've got to try and get finance for it. You don't necessarily have hundreds of thousands lying around.
Almost half of the £4 billion Scottish tourism generates each year comes from people taking trips specifically to enjoy the country's nature and wildlife. But business leaders say more needs to be done to help firms deliver the eco-credentials visitors are looking for.
We surveyed right across Scotland, and 4/5 of businesses, 80%, haven't taken advantage of any government support. And that is a real concern, because there is support out there, but they're not taking advantage of it. And the question is why. And we think a lot of it is this support was designed without any discussion with businesses about their needs and how they see things developing.
Across the world, tourism is responsible for around 8% of greenhouse gas emissions. Here in Scotland, there's a real drive to change that. But just how easy is it for the industry to go green? There's a wealth of things to see on Orkney. 350,000 people a year visit attractions like the Standing Stones of Stennis.
The idea behind this stone circle, what you'd probably use it for, is worship.
People still love to travel, but keeping their carbon footprint to a minimum is becoming increasingly important for many.
A lot of our clients ask about ecotourism. They want to try and reduce their carbon footprint. They're very happy to go in a brand new vehicle that's hybrid, and they enjoy being comfortable, but also hearing not a huge amount of engine noise. But they do feel like by booking with ourselves that they're getting a great experience as well as reducing their carbon footprint.
Tourism consultant Sheetal Rivas says Orkney has huge eco-potential, but the issue of how best to be environmentally friendly can be tremendously confusing.
There can be a lack of joined-up thinking and joined-up approach, really. There are so many initiatives around green tourism, around net zero, around reducing carbon, and I think sometimes the challenge is what do companies focus on, how do they kind of channel all their energy into one, and what is it that people are looking for? Is it one, some, none, all? And it can be a little bit confusing at times, I think.
Getting back to nature is what visitors want at this Moray Getaway.
Everything we do is all about regenerating the soil, about growing healthy food by feeding the soil. So we make loads of compost, and people can come and they can wander around the site and they can see what we do. I think it's a feeling that people get when they come here. We've had people walk in the hideaway and tear up. I think it's beautiful, it's relaxing, it's just so peaceful. And a word that gets branded out around an awful lot by our guests is magical.
Oh, cakes.
Muffins.
I like the house as a general. It's not your norm. It's something different, but it's all natural. And to me, you feel it. You feel like the natural vibe coming from it.
Encouraging more environmentally responsible tourism has been made a key pledge by those at the top of the country's industry, and climate action is also a priority. Operators say they are doing their best to live up to visitor expectations. But there's still some distance to go when it comes to getting greener. Nicola McAlley, STV News.